Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing tips for Friday, the 6th of December. Well, the other day, what day was it? Wednesday. It was a good day. It could have been a fantastic day. For those of you that followed me, congratulations. For those of you that just used some of the selections, I hope you was lucky enough to choose the right ones that I selected. But I must say, well, I'll tell you what it was. I think it was £8 stake, £43 return. But what I will say is the two that came unplaced ran absolute crackers. Um, and there's no criticism of the jockeys. So one of them was something that's my Yates, I think it was called. My only concern, well, my only disappointment with that, the pace wasn't strong enough. It turned into a bit of a sprint finish, or I don't use the word sprint really, but it wasn't a breakneck pace. I thought they'd go quicker. And I thought it would be a relentless gallop, and I thought mine would just keep going and get a place. Because the funny thing is, when it showed you the rear angle, which because of the bad weather, I don't know if they use a different camera, it looked like it got every chance and moved into fourth place. It was travelling well pretty much all the way around. It was 22-1, and in the end, it just outpaced. It didn't. I think even the Racing Post commentary said it was. Headway and then outpaced rather than weakened. The other selection that ran very well was the Luke Morris ridden horse, Kinetic. It was just two heads away from fourth place, um, or a big head if you want to call it. And that was 20-1. So it was literally the length of your arm away from getting fourth place. And then that would have increased it quite a bit. So your return would have been 40 odd quid. Well, sorry, it was £43, and then add another 20-1 in that. So it would have been very nice. However, it didn't happen, but it was still five times your stake. So I hope you did well out of it. If you didn't, nothing I can say. If you give this video a quick like, please, or if you appreciate the time I've put into things, just give me a quick like. If you don't, you don't. That's no problem. So I've had £10 stake on Friday. Thursday's racing were no good, to be honest. I didn't have a bet, but as in like when I looked at it, I thought, nah, no thanks. Fridays isn't much better. I know I've staked £10 and it's more than the other day, but it's a bit of a hit and hope, really. I think it's probably more. £10 probably more the size of the £10, if you know what I mean. It's probably more to do with not having a bet on Thursday. So I've chucked a tenner in. So the bet is it's at 20 pence each way, lucky 15. And I was going to take one of the prices, but in the end, I've left them all to SP. So that comes to £6. I've had 40 pence each way singles, and then I've had a 40 pence each way accumulator to round it up to a tenner. So the first selection is Cinderella. I've left the price, and this was the price I was going to take, which was 6-1. Um, I do think it's. I do think it could be shorter than 6-1, but I'm going to take a risk, and I hope that I'm wrong. So Cinderella in the 12.25 at Exeter, paying four places instead of three. So there was a number of horses that I liked in this race. However, there was an awful lot of them that was running well, but running well on much easier tracks. Um, I think sometimes people can be a bit, and I don't even know what the word is, a bit deceived by a horse who's actually running well, but then, and they are running well, but on easier tracks. And when they get switched to these Exeter, which is a tough track, especially when it's, I think it's soft heavy in places, it's going to be horrible, especially when they're on the way to three out over the hurdles track when they'll be really well spread out. You don't always get big distances between first and second, but you do from first to like fourth, fifth, and sixth. I think they'll be very well spread out. So this Cinderella, it's a bit of a course and distance specialist. It looks like I thought it had won this race last year. Well, it may have won this race, but not the type of race. I think this one's a hands and heels race, or it's some kind of rider restricted race. Well, it wasn't last year. David Noonan ran it last year, and it won by 6 lengths off a lower mark than what it's got today. But I believe, I think this is the one where it had a wind operation, In fact, it was, and it won first time after its wind operation. It's not the first time it's had a wind operation, but it won after its wind operation. I don't normally touch him with a barge pole when that happens, as in I wouldn't have backed it then. I wouldn't even have tipped it. But then I'm expecting it to come on for the run. But then again, I don't think it's that good. As in, like, I don't think it's win five on trot. And well, I hope it wins this one on the trot, this one. But because in the past, it's um, it's been a bit in and out. But hopefully, if this wind operation had done something, it could win tomorrow, or at least run very well. But I do like the fact that it's tried and tested over this course and distance and going so many times, and I think it's just one of their more reliable performers. When you've got, don't get me wrong, you've got horses in better form, but when it comes to this slower ground and this track, it could catch one or two of them out. I'm not even sure about the jockey. I think her name's Megan Bevan. She won it last time. I didn't. I haven't watched the race when she won on it, but if you're thinking of following me in, take a look, see if she can ride. She rode a winner that day, so yeah, I'm tired by the way. So the second selection, right? What I've gone for now, I've gone for an angle. When I was looking at these selections, well, the Exeter card, I did notice that. Oh, come on, what's his name now? Philip Hobbs and whoever he trains with had got quite a few decent chances. Well, the short price one, the even money chance, I've left alone because I'm not backing even money. However, I have backed an 11-4 chance each way. That's why I've left the price. But Larry's Bar, which was 11-4, but I've left the price in the 1 o'clock at Exeter, paying three places instead of two. So this selection, basically, it's got an obvious form chance, and 11-4 reflects that. I've left the price, and I do think a number of what's his name, Philip Hobbs's horses have got chances tomorrow, and this was one of them. So the third selection is Cap Vert in the 135 at Exit. So originally I'd gone for, and I went totally against what I normally do. I went originally for the Poor Nichols horse, the one that is running first time after a wind operation. I know I'm contradicting myself, but I just thought it was interesting because the Poor Nichols trained horse, the big price one, I can't remember what it's called now. It doesn't matter though, but it's in the same colours as Laylor. Well, I think that's what I pronounce it. Um, the decent horse that used to be trained by, was it Kaylee Woolacott, I think, um, or her husband anyway. So Laylor, it's it's running in the same colours because I clicked on the owners, and the owner was whatever the first person's name was, and Poor Nichols. Well, I thought it was quite interesting, so I clicked on the ownership, and like I said, it brought up Laylor. So I'm thinking like, oh, obviously they've gone after. Are they looking for? Oh, well, obviously everybody's looking for decent horses, but it could be. I find it interesting that Poor Nichols had a half share in it. But in the end, I've changed my mind and I've gone for the Philip Hobbs angle. So Cap Vert, it went point to point in twice, ran okay, but then it went over hurdles at Foss Lass. In my opinion, it ran very well up until 2 out, and then it blew up. And for those who are unfamiliar with what blew up is, basically, um, it was panting and become very tired. That's probably about the best I can explain it. Um, it was spent towards the end, and it just weakened towards the end. But I think it'll come on massively for the run. And as I said, I do like the angle of the Philip Hobbs horses tomorrow. Don't get me wrong, it might only sneak a place because there's a couple of fancied horses. It ran to a rating of 104 for the Racing Post rating. Well, there is, I think it's the second favourite, only ran not too much above that, but has now got a £6 penalty. And I always think they're vulnerable with these penalties, especially in bad ground. Even if it handles the bad ground, these previous winners, I still think it's a lot to ask to carry a penalty. And the final selection is Musical Slave in the 320 at Exeter, paying four places instead of three. It's running well. It's one of the Philip Hobbs horses. I've left his horse in the last race because it's too short a price at even money. This horse has got an obvious chance. And take a look for yourself. I just think it's got an obvious chance. It's running well at the moment, and I believe, as I said, for the 15th time, I do believe Philip Hobbs could have a decent day tomorrow. So those are the four selections. So the first one, I was going to tell you who trained it now. Oh, and Nigel Hawke trains it, and the next three are all trained by Philip Hobbs. So if you can give me a like, please, I would really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments, if you will. Would you like a very small bet? Would you like me to give you a very small bet, as in small stakes bet, but some huge prices? These huge prices will probably come absolutely nowhere. But I just wondered if you want me to spend my time trying to sneak an out, trying to find an outsider if I can. I'm not saying it'll come anywhere, but I tell you what, I'm also planning on doing Saturday is I'm also thinking of looking at the um, three places instead of two for those people that bet with Sky Bet, because I'm convinced there's massive value to be had in the three places instead of two on the outsiders. I just think three places instead of two on a seven runner field, and then all of a sudden it whittles down to six, and all of a sudden you've got a 20, 25 to 1. You don't need like one of the fancied horses to blunder or an unseat rider, or to jump left into one of the other horses. And I ain't seen any of that kind of carnage for ages. But it doesn't take much to whittle the field down even further. So yeah, so let me know if there's anything in particular that you would like, and don't say winners. But I'll tell you one thing as well. The bet from the other day, the one that came third, called Kilter or Kitter. I don't know if everybody saw that ride. Um, you need to take a look at it. So go to Haydock on Wednesday on the results section. It's a horse trained and ridden by Sam England, and I think it's Jonathan England. Take a look at that when they jump two out. It's all over the winner, and I think the jockey just decides to keep running sideways on it, because you'll see exactly what I mean. It's too late for me now to get the race up, but it was embarrassing in my opinion. I thought, oi oi, because I think the favourite come down, which I can say oi oi because the favourite got back up again. But yeah, I thought, well, we've won this, and then all of a sudden it brings it to the near side rail, and then he jumps to something like the second last. Then he takes it into the middle of the track again, and then he jumps it and comes near side again and comes full of running. It was the best finishing horse in the race. I just don't know what he was doing. So clearly, that's for another day. Yeah. So I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.